Good afternoon. In college one year, my best friend and I needed summer jobs. He was a psych major, so he found us work over the Rhode Island border into Massachusetts at a psychiatric hospital. It was an entry-level position, but sometimes I would help out with new patient intake when a new patient was coming into the hospital. I would take vital signs like blood pressure and heart rate, and I asked the patient a long list of questions and wrote down the answers. One of the questions was, do you think you might want to hurt yourself? And I hated that question. So I complained to the head nurse. I said, this question it seems intrusive and it makes me feel awkward. And besides, it's kind of ridiculous because if someone were really suicidal, they would simply lie. It probably goes without saying, but I had no formal training, no prior experience. But at age 20, I knew everything, right? So the nurse was great. She said, well, I don't see that as an intrusive question. I see that as an act of compassion to a human in distress. And remember, people are complicated. They have many parts inside, and even if most of those parts have lost all hope and given up entirely, sometimes there's one part that's still holding on to some hope. And when you ask that question, you're directing it to that part. And very often, it will speak up truthfully to get the help they need. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So I felt better, and 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I'm doing another new patient intake, and I get to the question. But this time, I'm comfortable, it's an act of compassion, so I look him in the eye and simply ask him, do you feel as though you want to hurt yourself? And he looks back at me and says, yes, I'm afraid that I might. Two things struck me in that moment. The first is that I felt as though I were present for something special, something almost sacred. This man had a really horrible history and probably brain chemistry, so he lived in a world of hurt and a world of pain. And when he looked ahead, he just saw more of the same, and yet there was part of him that didn't give in to despair. And I think on that day, I heard the voice of hope from him, and I felt honored to be present. The second thing I realized was that although I had given a lot of thought to getting comfortable asking that question, I hadn't considered at all how I might respond if somebody answered yes. So I went blank there for a second, felt longer, and then it struck me. I don't need to know all the stuff. So I simply looked at him and said, it's all right, you're safe here, you're in the right place, because there are a whole lot of really smart, kind people here to help you out with that. He got the help he needed, and it worked out for him. So before we go on, people, when you leave this place, the next time you're talking to someone who is in real distress, I mean, in a bad way, as you're comforting them, just ask the simple question, do you think you might want to hurt yourself? And if they say yes, it's all right. You got this. You don't need to know all of the stuff either. You just got to talk to someone who can help you help them with some options. So there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Local psychiatric hospitals often have a similar thing. Butler Hospital in Rhode Island has one, 24/7. Or just regular hospital systems often have a psychiatric crisis line. Rhode Island Hospital has one, 24/7, all right? So you know what to do, you know how to do it, okay? All right, I'll move on. That story I told, it's an old one. It's one I've told my wife and my children many times. Apparently a father repeats himself. But I thought of it recently when I was talking to one of my daughters, who is a newly minted psychiatrist. And she was telling me that she works with some patients who have just some real challenges, and their candle of hope is not just faint or flickering, but has gone out entirely in all parts of them. And I said, well, what do you say to those folks? And she said, Dad, I tell them this. Listen, I got enough hope for both of us, so I'm going to carry it for a while till you're ready to take some back. Isn't that beautiful? So those are some pretty intense examples, but I think everyone at some point runs low on hope. Now, I don't have the challenges of severe clinical depression or major trauma, but I tell you, on some days, like after watching the news or scrolling social media or getting the robocalls, I've had it. and my faith in humanity and overall level of hope is very low. So what do? Where do I go for hope? I go looking for it. For example, I listen for hope inside, to all parts of me, not just the ones squawking about the latest outrage. And soon, one of them will pipe up and remind me of the beauty and the wonder of this earth. My dog's enthusiasm with a tennis ball, or the sweet acts of compassion and kindness that people do every day, sometimes the people you least expect it from. And I feel better. But I don't need to do it myself. I can't always get out of the ditch by myself, so I reach out to others for their hope. I ask friends, family, professionals when I need it for encouragement, some good words, a joke, a hug. Because sometimes we know something, but we still need to hear it from someone else. So I'll tell you right now, I got a lot of hope. In fact, I got extra. So if you're running low, help yourself. Who knows? In another day, week, you might pass some of that on to somebody else who needs it more than you. Maybe me. That's how it works. That's what we do. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you.